Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Successful Nurse Coach podcast. It is Shelby here today, and I am back with some residency interviews. I think actually this may be the first batch of actual nurse coach residency graduate interviews, the first of many, I hope. And today I am here with Colleen, and she is going to share all the tea, all the stories, all of her experience, which is so generous, but she's going to walk us through what the past 4, 5, 6-ish months have looked like for her. And I'm so excited to have you, Colleen. Welcome to the podcast. It's so great to have you.
Shelby. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I really appreciate it. I love being in the first residency cohort. So exciting to be able to break that down with you guys.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, whenever I hear people be like, "Oh, so the residency is a new program," I'm like, technically, yes. We have a new name on it. This is the same content, Lauren. I've been teaching for a long time, but your group was really, truly the first group that we ran that had the highest level of accountability, the most stuff going on. We really put you guys to the test, and you won, Colleen. You thrived in that environment. So I'm excited to. We get this question a lot of I just wish I could talk to somebody who's been through the residency so they could give me the cliff notes or what to expect or what to prepare for. And I think these conversations are so helpful. But do you want to give us maybe the highlights version of what kind of nurse you are, what led you to nurse coaching, how you got here, all those fun details?
Absolutely. So my background in nursing is primarily in pediatrics. I love the kiddos and I've always been attracted to that. And I probably worked in all the areas of nursing you can think about. Med surge, lots of time in the ICU, in a leadership role for 12 years. That was a lot of my career. And then now I work in nurse case management, which is, a lot of discharge planning, which is so fun to send people home. Sometimes stressful for them, but so fun to be able to be that voice of reassurance. You can do this. You got this. So I've really loved all my roles in nursing. I never regretted the decision to become a nurse one single time. My mom's a nurse. My grandma's a nurse. I have all kinds of nurses.
Yeah.
So love. And for me, nurse coaching seemed like an extension of that, such a growth of that. And I listened to the podcast, just like we're doing now. And that really inspired me. Listening to you and Laura also, it really aligned with kind of my view as a nurse has always been to give nurses tools to help us be leaders, every nurse a leader. I felt that in my leadership role. I felt it in my bedside roles. I was always kind of the person that was a little bit willing to go outside of that's not my job and kind of take on, try this. Though really, if we're working at the highest extent of our role as the nurse, then we can see so much good for the patient. We know what the patient needs. We know what the workplace needs. We know what the profession of nursing needs, and it really elevates us. And I really resonated with you and Laura and your philosophy around your company, because I feel like you guys are giving nurses the tools to elevate the profession. And that has always really spoken to me as what I like to embody in nursing. So well, you guys really inspired me. And as soon as I heard you talking about nurse coaching, I thought, yes, I have sort of wanted to open a business for several years. And this was the one that put all of it together, put the nursing together, let me try that. Maybe this is doable and the right support is in place. And it just really, really spoke to me. And I feel like you guys really do a good job breaking down the barriers that are in, I think, probably every nurse's head of you don't have to stay for insurance. You can get insurance outside of healthcare. You can buy insurance. Which why is such a crazy idea, but somehow it was.
I know.
And just, I knew when I talked to you about signing up for a Nurse Life Coach Academy that I wanted to do it. There was no way. I thought you were going to tell me no, I couldn't do it. And that was devastating to me because I had already decided that I was doing it. This is what I wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to have the support that you guys offer through the whole thing, because I really could see how important that was. I could see how being coached helps you see what coaching is and how fundamentally important that was, not even knowing really at the time what coaching was. But I could see that was a really crucial point. And so I signed up for Nurse Life Coach Academy. And then towards the end, when you were talking about the residency, actually at the time, I don't even think the idea had come out yet. And but tell me about this, making the leap. More. How can I do more? I really want to have support starting my business. And I knew it was the way to help me be successful. And so then when you described the changes that you guys made from making it into the residency, that sounded even more supportive than making the leap was. Not knowing, not having experience that I don't know, is what the key differences are that you guys made. But the level of support and just the level of detail and the coaching and peer support really aligned with what I thought would be really helpful to start the business. And so I was so happy to have the way the transition went between Nurse Life Coach Academy and then going right into the residency. And I know you guys don't necessarily have many people going right into it. Sometimes there's a little bit of time where people can take their time and start. For me, I wanted to use the momentum of finishing the certification program. I felt really passionately and excited, and I didn't want to kind of lose that and get into the, oh no, can I really do this? I just wanted to go and I'm going to do this and it's going to be great. So that's how it came to be.
Here. That's how it came to be. Yes. I think a few years ago, I would have been like, it's the best choice just to like go from certification right into business support if that's what you wanted to do. And I'm realizing over the years that it is the right choice for some. And, there's like a lot more gray area for me now. But for nurses who have the capacity and the momentum and the drive to where like that makes sense, it is a fun little ride that we get to take because you get this natural little, it's not little, like a good bump from graduation of NLCA. And then it can kind of like just chuck you into entrepreneurship. And we get to use that as fuel in the tank. And for everybody listening, like if you need the break, if you want the break, like take the break. It's totally not a big deal. But this can be a fun entry point into entrepreneurship. And you hit the ground running, my friend. Like you were our best case scenario, like on top of the course content, on every call, like all the things. And what I really loved about supporting y'all's group is that there was just like a real camaraderie with it. Like everybody kind of like linked elbows and went forward. And I've run enough groups to know that that's not the case for every single group. But whenever you get people who have like the bandwidth to participate in that way, you guys tend to have better results. So that was fun. That was fun to facilitate as well. But walk us through. Okay, so we're going to start residency. What are you most excited for and what are you most afraid of?
So I think the other thing that was right before the transition that was a little helpful was some of the ways that I don't want to say the word push because that sounds negative, but the accountability of if you want this, bring the full out, bring the enthusiasm. And so you said, if you want to make this transition really close together, you'll need to finish up all your pro bono clients by this time period in order to be ready to move into the residency. And so I asked myself, am I able to do that? And I work full time. I still work full time. And I did so many pro bono hours at the same time as working. And I thought this is a great way to just get an idea of what this feels like as far as the amount of time it takes and pushing myself. Do I really want this? Am I willing to put the time in? Am I willing to do it? And how much commitment do I have? And so that part was also a little bit of a stretch, just getting it done in a short time frame. But I think I've really tried to take on each kind of personal challenge like that, where it's, you have to put your commitment behind, not just your personal enthusiasm, but do you want to do it? What is that going to take? What's that going to look like? And just to see it and to match it has been, I think, really important for me.
Mhm.
Because that's the part that's happening, obviously, off the calls. When you're not there, when there's not a Shelby in your ear, it's just me and me. And what are we doing? But so I think seeing myself do that was helpful. So I thought, okay, I think I'm ready to make this move, even though it's close. What I was really excited about was some of the benefits that you guys offer for signing up early. Also, people on the podcast, I'm a real person. Shelby and Laura are not paying me to be here. I love the residency. I love Nurse Life Coach Academy, but I'm not like any kind of compensation for any of you. Like, this is genuinely how I feel, and I really appreciate.
We didn't give the residency to Colleen for free. She paid to be there. Yes,
right. I paid all the money. I am a just regular schmo. To try to make this work. But so the start of the residency that involved a couple welcome calls that really help with those things right off the bat, the imposter syndrome, and the peer support is really so valuable because it's real other people doing the same thing, and you can ask real questions. How's this working for you? How scared about this do you feel? I feel terrified. Do you? Yes, we both do.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Yeah. Talk about that. And so even I think you guys naturally line up some peer coaching before the residency, and that I found really helpful. In fact, I still, even now, the residency, we're in April, the residency ended about a month ago, and I still have been meeting with one of the peer coaches. And it's super helpful. We continue to meet, we talk, how's this going for you? Just mutual support. And then, we always struggle in different areas. So it's totally a good source of support. What made me scared to start was the vulnerability in the social media aspect. So I was a brand newbie too. And that was another challenge. When we had our call before Nurse Life Coach Academy, I said, can I have a business page? You said, what we recommend is starting a personal page, because sometimes we find that people are actually nervous about the visibility and fearful of the visibility. And that's why they want to hide behind a business page. You didn't say hide, but I know that if you could say it,
it's true. Yeah. Try not to scare you off, Colleen. You rose to the challenge, but yes, I get that question a lot.
Right.
A lot.
Now I know that's what you would say. And so I said, okay, Shelby told me I got to get up. So I did it. And that was scary to me because I had never done that before intentionally. I had always kind of, I guess now I would say, hidden it in the identity of, I'm not that kind of person, whatever that means. That isn't part of my identity. I'm more of authentic, live in the moment. And the social media is for people. This is just the judgments. Thinking back on maybe they don't have as much time. They have a lot more time to do that. They're not focusing on their actual lives, living their actual life. They're living sort of in a bubble of social media. All my preconceived notions about social media were there. And so I really tried hard to overcome them and just, and somehow there was a part of me that was nervous that I had to immediately post on Facebook like the worst parts of my life. Somehow the internet expected me to immediately just be completely open and vulnerable. And why? I don't have any idea why that was there. But so I started easy. My cat's 19. She passed away recently. I was worried about her, and we were trying to focus on giving her some quality of life at the end of her life. So I posted a video about my old cat. And so many people liked it. And it was just a silly way to break into social media because it was scary to me. And I don't know. Now I feel better about it. But the level of vulnerability that was going to be involved in really being authentic. And I wanted to uphold my own kind of authentic self. Because I always have felt like that, but really haven't shown that version of me. The idea of being on your
Yeah.
podcast last year, I'm sure would have been terrifying to me. I feel like a totally different person than I was then.
Yeah.
Starting both of the programs. And now the coming out post. So the answer to your question, the coming out post was scary to me. The idea of, because I wanted to share who I was authentically, how I had come to this place. And that was a messy journey involving all aspects of my life, parts of my marriage, parts of my, personal journey with PTSD, my leadership role, burnout. All of the pieces I knew have brought me to this moment and made me who I am. And some of those really difficult things are the parts that have made me the strongest. And so I want to be in line with both the great things and the hard things, and be able to share that in a way that I felt really spoke to who I was and wasn't an AI. I know we use AI. I love AI, but I like things from my own words.
Right. Yeah.
I think we use AI as a tool, and I rewrote the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to sound like my voice. I wanted my words there. I wanted to tell people, this is why I wanted to be a coach. This is why I went to the program. This is who I am. If you want to be coached by someone like me, this is who I am. This is how I've come to be. This is how I've become myself. And it was a bomb of a coming out post, but it really, and it was really, I felt really vulnerable. I couldn't even go back on the internet for 24 hours. I felt really dysregulated after posting it. But the reality is just that I see from what you guys are saying, and I see from myself how much better it feels to just be your authentic self, because that is who you want to be able to bring to your coaching. And I want to be able to do that. So I think the only way to do that is to practice. The more times you practice doing it, the more vulnerable you can be, the more natural it becomes, and the more natural it feels like your true self. So the coming out post was something that was scary to me. And I appreciated that it was just a matter of, we're going to be on a call and we're all going to do it, and you're going to do it now. And I remember thinking, oh, okay.
Everyone on like your group in particular. So every group that we run kind of has like a different energy. And I'll give it to y'all's group. I was like, all right, here we go. We kind of get like the most activating part done, like kind of right out of the gate. That's done intentionally and on purpose, because your excitement is high enough to kind of like help neutralize how activating it is.
Yeah.
And we're going to leverage it, right? We're going to leverage it. And I know that because I have walked with like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nurse coaches through this particular moment of like being seen, being heard online in particular. And yes, could we have spent 4 weeks regulating your nervous system to like go do it? Probably. Could I have prepared you? Like, there's 100 ways we could do it. I don't know. My personal flavor is like, I got your hand. Here's a cliff edge. Let's go. You're going to jump off the cliff and realize that it was like 6 inches, like it's not really that tall.
Right.
And your group, I could tell everyone has like wide eyes, but no one's like telling me no. And I was like, okay, let's go. And then you, Colleen, were like, hey, I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, there it is. All right, Colleen went first. Like, the freak out bubble. I just did this with another group as well. And I was like, okay, hit post. And everyone, Colleen was like, I can't do that. Like, I need more time. Like, it was like a really different energy. And I was like, okay, team, listen, you have 24 hours. I hear you. We're not ready. Okay. We have 24 hours. Message me in Telegram when it's done. And this poor group, Colleen, everyone was like, I got a migraine last night. I woke up not feeling well. Like, they were experiencing like physical symptoms. And I was like, get her done. Like, it's already written. Still push post. It's not that we're there. Final finish line. And I just want to acknowledge like how big this is. And this is the entry point. And this is where most nurse coaches like just don't. They don't do it, or then they do it and then they don't follow up with anybody. Like, there's a lot of ways to fumble the ball here. Not to anybody's fault, but it's just so big. It's so activating. it's so vulnerable, all of the things. And I'm just continually impressed with you, Colleen, with our community. Like, to this desire to be authentic leaders, to be authentic healers is like very, very, very present. And most leaders don't care, like not a lot of leadership in the world cares to lead with their heart first, and the nurse coaching community does. And I'll admit, like, it is it's harder in the beginning. It's definitely more activating in the beginning, but long term, I believe that it creates like a peace that is like easy to walk with, rather than like, oh, I gotta like be Coach Colleen or Coach Shelby when I walk into this room. You just like get to be you in every room that you walk into. So it's hard earned, and like, well done. You sat up straighter for a moment, but you did it, and here we are.
Yep. I remember thinking right now, I think I raised my, Shelby, you mean right now?
Yeah.
Just send it right now. This is the go.
Yeah.
This is the start. I think there is a level of, and I remember you talking about this too. There is okay, we're starting. Now this is the start. So this, like, somehow there needs to be an official starting line. I'm a runner, so maybe in my mind, I want there to be a gun. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
Right.
But that was it.
Yeah, it's a similar experience that I had whenever I first started, and this is before I hired my first coach. Laura was talking to me on the phone, and she goes, "So you're starting now, right?" And I was like, yeah, I guess." And she goes, "Well, this is what you said you want. This is what you're doing. They don't match." And I was like, oh, God, you're right. And it was like kind of like someone kind of needed to shake me by the shoulders a little bit of like, hey, you have to begin. Like, if this is the dream, you have to start. And it wasn't intentional on purpose. And I don't even think I was in avoidance in like a conscious way. It was completely subconscious. And yeah, it was really gentle. It sounds really direct, but it was more like, hey, like, are you coming? Like, get on it. And I was like, you are correct. And I hired a coach a few weeks later, and the rest is history. But you do need someone to be like, here's the starting line. Take your mark, go, like that. It is helpful. Okay. So what happened after, Colleen? You went live, you told a story, you wrote it from scratch. Then what happened after that?
So I found a lot of support in my people. And I have I have worked at a really large hospital for a really long time. I haven't moved around a bunch. So I know a lot of people from the role. In my leadership role, you just naturally make a lot of connections when you're a leader. Hopefully, if you're a good one, you want to make connections, because that's great. And so a lot of support, a lot of, this is great. I feel like you'll be so great at this. And I was, I think, surprised, but also, okay, then the next step is, all right, following up with these people. And I tried to, everything that I've done so far, I've really just tried to do exactly what you guys say to do and not veer off the plan. And the plan works. And just follow the path. And because I feel like before the residency, in the certification and in the residency, you guys lay out very clearly, this is what you need to do. And the thing that pulls people off is the feelings. And if you follow the feelings, you're going off the path. If you stay on the path, the path works. So I've just tried to work through the feelings and not let it stop me from staying in the path of doing the things. And it was really hard to follow up. Not hard, because I've done a lot of hard things in my past. Challenging in that it was just learning how to follow up with people. And so I did all of the invites from all of the people that commented on the post. And it was maybe 60 or 70. So anyone that reacted to it and commented on it, I followed up with them. And I have really been more comfortable direct messaging people than, I'm fine with the posts, but all of my invitations, all of my clients have come from me reaching out. Sadly, sadly for people who I think are wanting to post and have people respond, 0 people have actually responded back to a post and said, I want to meet with you. It has
Yeah.
all been me reaching out to people directly. But then I've had so many responses that make me want to keep going. So even some of the no's, I'm doing this new thing. I'm really excited about it. I'd love to offer you a free call if you're interested. Are you, asking them yes or no? And
Yep.
the yeses, I'm so glad you reached out. This is such perfect timing. So many people,
Mhm.
I have so many
Mhm.
big things happening in my life. It's like you were meant to reach out to me and I was meant to hear this and we were totally meant to meet.
Yeah.
And so many of those. And then even the no's sometimes have been so powerful. And some of the no's have kept me going also because it's people saying, so it was around the beginning of the year when I was reaching out to people, it was the big
Yeah.
January. And
Yeah.
so, hey, I'd love to offer you a free coaching session. And then a couple people that said, I love the idea of this. I'm so happy for you. I'd be happy to refer you. But actually at the beginning of the year, every year, I sit down and I do this mindful reflection and I use this tool. Send me the link for the person's podcast. I follow this every year and it gives me a great insight into my whole life. And I feel like I'm good. I have a good process, but I really support you. And this is
Yeah.
such a great no, because of course, I just felt like, oh, I'm so honored to know this person that does this cool thing in their life every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. It sounds like you're doing great.
Yeah.
Give me a referral if you want. But I think those kinds of no's made it less about some kind of rejection of me and my offer,
Right.
and more
Yeah.
so, this is still such a great connection. I'm so proud of you that that's what you do. I'm so happy that I know you and you're such a great
Yeah.
person. And it's
Yeah.
just sort of a mutual energy that is more positive, and just
Mhm.
trying not to let it be a reflection of who I am and that they're
Yeah.
rejecting me and my offer
Yeah.
and me being a coach, any of that, because I had so many that weren't that. And so
Yeah.
that was really helpful to me, I felt like.
Yes. Yes. It's such a healthy perspective to have because it's honest. They're like, hey, like, this is awesome. And this is what we teach you in the residency too. I said, there's no way to miss an invite to someone that makes sense,
Mhm.
But if someone's like, my life is rainbows and butterflies and we are going to the moon and then we're going to Disney World and I love everything and everyone loves me. Like, it doesn't make sense to offer them a coaching session because that's when it starts to get sticky and salesy and a little pushy. There are plenty of people that are going through a transition that would love support. And then there you are. We don't have to force it when it's not happening. And I think that that's just like a really healthy, naturally built in mindset that you have, Colleen. I know that you've probably had to work hard for that over the years, but it's paying
Yes.
off in this moment right now, big time.
Thank
for
you.
you.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I don't want to give the impression at all that those feelings weren't there.
Sure.
That they were
Yes.
there, just because I'm not highlighting that those things weren't there. That in the moments, me alone with my phone or my computer doing the messages, all those feelings are there. Always the nervousness before sending the messages, especially those first 70. And I shifted the words that I used with all of them until the end. I had a message that I felt a little more comfortable with. I felt like it was direct. But then even those, I remember we came back to the residency and shared some of those messages, and you honed them a little bit. Well, make sure there's a question at the end and you're actually asking them and not just, what do you think? And then I tend to be too wordy. I mean, those are my words. I use a lot of words. As I think back, I led a team of ICU nurses who love a lot of details. And I think this is how I got to be so much of the explainer. I wanted to make sure that they always knew what was going on. It was really important to me to get the details. And so I like to give a lot of details. And sometimes that's off-putting when it's such a long message. And I think a shorter message and then details if people want them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes people have been like, that's great. And then I'll say, now, do you have an idea of what you might want to work on? Yeah, I want to work on work. Great. Let's meet. And it's just a couple of sentences back and forth. And I have found that it doesn't need as much of all the explanation I was initially giving. Some people do. Some people want all kinds of details. Sometimes people are like, I don't know what it is, but let's try it. Let's hear that.
That's a me, Colleen. I'm like, that sounds fun. Let's go. Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Okay. So now that we're in, we've ripped off the band-aid of some connections, some invites. We have our first coaching session. The next few weeks, remind me, how deep were we in before you signed your first paid client?
Maybe a couple weeks. So I have, yes, at this point had 5 paid clients. One of them actually finished, so I currently have 4.
Yeah.
And I am still working full time. That's the other relevant piece.
Yes.
And it was a couple of weeks in, and I am forever grateful for him because I had him pretty quickly. And it was a very old friend who just was interested and said, I just want to try it.
Yeah.
Let's just see. And having him was a little bit like a lifeboat.
Yeah.
Because it's that first one is such a big hurdle. And so I was so grateful that he, kind of had that faith in me and wanted to play and jump in right away. And so I had that. He and I worked together a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks. I mean, it was right around Christmas, so probably right before the start of the residency.
Yeah.
That we agreed. And all of it has been so much learning. Every single person, every single coaching session. It's all new. And I think I like being new. I don't mind being new. I like learning so much. It's really important to me as part of kind of just my growth as a person. But it's it makes me nervous, makes me uncomfortable. It's hard to be new. And at the same time, I like being new.
Yeah.
Oh, you just have to do it.
Yeah. You do just have to do it. Yeah. So he was your first paid client. And then we had, did you have 5 by the time we graduated? Or was there 4?
Yes. A couple weeks later, then the rest of them, a couple happened in really short time.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
Sort of made me ecstatic and freaked out.
Yeah, it was like 3 days, 3 paid clients. And I was like, yeah, that's a really lucrative 72 hours. Like,
right.
Get it. Yeah.
And it just sort of, I think, I don't know why there was a scary aspect, but it was a little, gosh, okay, this is real. I'm going to factor all these people in to my work.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to do this? And it didn't happen right away. It was a lot of invitations to get to that point. A lot of conversations, maybe 60 at least invitations to have sessions, the ratio kind of check with, what you share as your ratio. And it was a lot of conversations led up to that. So it didn't just spontaneously 3 people reached out and said, I'd love to pay you. Let's do this. I did the work to get to that point, and I got through the difficulties of those invitations, those conversations, the discomfort of the first PowerPoint conversation, the second one, the proposals. Those things are all scary. And a lot of learning how to sit with my own nervousness. I feel like most of my messages to you were like, gosh, I just feel so nervous. And it's not making me my best coach self. Because I know that when I'm nervous, people can sense that, and I over-explain what's happening. And I think that, you just have to be able to be vulnerable to seeing your own, I don't want to say faults, but like your own areas for growth. And I recorded a lot of my calls, and I watched them, and I watched myself, and I really just tried to be in the learning, be in the vulnerability of, what's happening? What am I saying? What are people responding to? And some of them, as I'm watching my own call, I'm thinking, get to the point. Why are you explaining this so much? And I can see on the person's face, they're thinking the same thing. I asked you how much this is, and you're giving me all this long diatribe about what's coaching. And so, I try to get to like the money. In my mind, asking somebody to pay you is a huge deal for me. And so it's not always for the other person. The amount of money is what it is. They're asking for information. It's information for them. And it's not the giant emotional impact that it is to me.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
I just to level that a little bit, level my own thinking about that down so that we can play on the even, this is some
Yeah.
information for you to consider. If you want to work
Yeah.
together, great. May or may not be the right time. We can talk about it, and then just keeping it a neutral.
Yes. You are so right of like, they are asking your price. They're not asking your value or your worth as a person, and then for you to prove it, in a PowerPoint presentation of all the things during your proposal and all the things that you're highlighting again of like watching your calls. It's kind of like watching tape if you like play sports, like watching your races or your games. It's so cringe, Colleen. It's so cringe. And this is how you be the best learner. This isn't even really like how you be like an incredible, impeccable coach overnight. It's just like, how can I expose myself to enough cringe to where there becomes space for it to become neutral, and putting yourself out there on social media, watching your coaching calls, watching your proposals, saying your price out loud. Like Laura described it one way of like, if I knew that I was going to feel bad about it or feel cringy or feel gross or icky or whatever for 50 reps, I would just do those reps as fast as possible. Like I would just like rip the Band-Aid off over and over and over if I knew it was going to take 50 reps. And I think that can be like a helpful way to look at it of like, it's just going to like be little for like the first like 10, 20 go rounds here. And then eventually it's going to lose its sting. Eventually it won't be so activating. Eventually you're going to have enough reps to fall back on to where you have proof that this is going to be fine. Even if they say no, it's going to also be fine. If they say yes, like I can handle it. And I think that you did this phase super well. Like it was very obvious to me that you were putting in like the hours and the number of invites necessary, but also like reviewing. You did all the things that we asked you to do of like plugging it into our AI evaluator and watching your calls. Like you did it all repetitively over and over. And the nurse coaches who do this the longest, like that's how they all got started. Like you were checking all the boxes that you could check in the beginning, which was awesome.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I mean, I think it's a level of playing full out. When you make the agreement to play full out, then I want to define for myself what that means. What it means is if there are tasks, work, accountability pieces that come along with the coaching program, it's why I'm here in it. I can put my family's money behind, this commitment. I am committed to doing it. And that means all of the vulnerability. It means all of the learning. It means all of the practice. And it means watching myself on video, even though I did not like doing that. And again, a year ago, I would never thought that I would be in a program where I was voluntarily paying to watch myself on video. Because that's would have been insane to the me of last year.
Yeah, that's so good. It's so good. Oh, yeah. What would you say is the biggest difference between you a year ago and you now? Like, what about your essence or your character? Like, have you grown or strengthened in the past 12 months?
Super good question. I think there's so many areas, but I think the one area is sitting with fear. And it's a biggie. And I think it's also recognizing that's what it is. Recognizing there's 20 layers above that could easily be, I don't want to do this, all the resistance, all the things that it's having enough self-insight to recognize what's at the bottom. The bottom is fear. What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of this. And is that the truth? And also, if you're afraid, can you do it anyway? We're going to have to do it anyway. The doing it anyway is really, I think, the most important. That the fear is going to be, nothing's going to take the fear away. It's recognizing it's there and doing it anyway. And just seeing how much fear drives us as humans. I mean, that's the thing. We're all humans. We all are driven by the same things. My version is different than yours, but the fear is there. And I really struggled for a long time with PTSD symptoms that are really kind of, intrusive thinking and all of the fear causing a lot of dysregulation. And so this work has been kind of a continuation of the healing of that to the point where I can actually just sit with the fear. Some of those bigger fears where you're just kind of sitting with it and letting it be there and then letting it pass. And,
Yeah.
obviously that is then not having the resistance to the fear, which usually makes it pass faster, which is
Yeah.
much better. But yeah, I
Yeah.
do remember also having a moment of surreal when we did in the residency an activity that was deepest fear inventory.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
remember watching myself thinking, I am voluntarily participating in this activity called Write Your Deepest Fears Down on a Piece of Paper. And I'm actually enjoying it, really excited about seeing my own deepest fears and
Yeah.
then countering them with, is that really true? What's the truth? And that is
Mhm.
such a huge shift for me. And I feel like such an incredibly valuable one because there's
Yeah.
fear that comes in any area, in work, at home, in the coaching conversation that you're having with people. And it's so prominent and it's so human. We all have the same thing. So being able
Yeah.
to feel that for yourself allows you to then, I think, recognize and sit with that
Yeah.
more, more in a more connected, authentic way with other people.
Yeah.
So that's the biggie.
Yeah. Casual, Colleen, just like casual, like I can be with my fear and not let it be in the driver's seat of my life. Yeah,
That's right.
so significant. It's so significant because in that space, you're allowed to make intentional choices. You like can make the choices you want to make. You can start designing the life you want to live. Like I have such deep empathy for fear because I mean, you said it, like we all deal with this no matter what profession you're in, what stage of life. And was it on the deepest fear inventory exercise to where you were like, okay, Shelby, so say we get to like the fear bit and then like, what do you do? Like, what do you do about it? And I was like, you just do it anyway. And you're like, oh, we just continue. Like there is no fixing the fear. And I think that that's helpful for me. Um, that's super helpful for me. I'm like, yeah, we like put our finger on it. We give it a snack. We give it a blanket. We let it ride shotgun. But like you are in the driver's seat, and if we can like have the bandwidth, the capacity to maintain that ideal state, like humans are just our brains are wired for fear. I get it for survival, and here we are.
Yeah.
So good. Okay. Let's fast forward a little bit, Colleen. What is business like now? You've been out of residency for almost a month. The dust is settling. You had a client wrap up. You're on four clients. We had a conversation 6-8 weeks ago to where you're like, Shelby, I actually can't invite anymore because like life is full, and 5 paid clients for everybody listening. If you have a part-time practice, that is true. Like full-time hours, part-time practice, that is like really push into full time, 6 is like kind of like where we start to teeter. So walk me through like how the dust is settling now. We haven't had like our routine weekly moments. So I'm also learning here in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I've kind of tried to reshift because through the residency, the focus every week to build the skills.
Mhm.
I know you
Mhm.
want to build the skills of consistent inviting,
Yeah.
consistent connections, consistent follow up with people, because that's the core of what drives the business and the client
Yeah.
generation creation. And so then when I had to slow down a little bit on that, that was making me feel like, oh, am
Mhm.
I doing the things I need to do to grow long term? But I think the other thing that's been also is always a part of growth is kind of acceptance and openness to the kind of where things are, that it doesn't
Yeah.
need to be different. It's okay. It's not different. And even if I want it to be different, it's not. This is the current situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so kind of understanding and then shifting the learning. And you mentioned like shifting what success looks like. I think of it more like, where is the growth? Maybe the growth
Mhm.
isn't in more clients right now because that isn't necessarily. So my
Yeah.
focus has been on becoming the best coach that I can be and using the hours. I mean, I am looking right now because it's posted next to me at my 100 hours tool. I religiously use it and check off the boxes. I'm at about 65 of 100
Yeah.
today. So
Yeah. That's
each of
so
those
big.
hours, each of those hours gives me the opportunity to practice becoming a better coach and then really focusing on, while I'm having those conversations, can I be the best coach that I can be and looking at resources for that. And really, I think solidifying my business practices, because I sort of started out with a bang and did not track as many of all of the invitations and connections in the regimented way that needs to be the case when you're building a business, because I was just doing a lot of it on the fly. I would leave work, get on the bus back to my car, and do some invites. And really that's what I was doing. I mean, it was it wasn't always formal. It wasn't in my office. It was sometimes just, I had my phone, do it right now. This seems like a natural time, get a couple invitations in. And that is, sometimes I think then you don't have time to worry about it and think about it. What am I saying? This is the time I have.
Yeah.
Do it. Okay. Now I go home, make dinner for my family. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But so now I think I've wanted to kind of go back and make everything a little bit more trackable, make sure that I have good solid lists, good solid processes, so that I'm prepared as things grow. And same thing with becoming a better coach, really solidifying my coaching skills and looking at other tools, reading some books, watching more coaching demos. The coaching demos that you and Laura, everybody on the team has, so valuable to watch other people coach. And I think that's the benefit of both the residency and Nurse Life Coaching Academy, is that you can watch as you're coaching other people, and it's just as much learning as you're being coached yourself, because you can become a better coach by watching what are the questions you ask, how do you ask it, how does the person respond, how do you follow up. So watching demos of other coaches outside of nursing coaches, watching their coaching style, watching their questions, watching how the person responds. I think that has been really helpful for me, and watching my own calls to be able to see it, and doing the deep coaching scorecard after as many as I can. And trying to do it at least, say sometimes I have 2 or 3 in a day, and I just have to get off the call and go walk my dog.
Yeah.
Factoring in that you can't do it after every single one, but some strategically, if it's one where I'm kind of questioning and thinking, how did that go? Taking a minute to do that scorecard right after. And then also looking at the trends. I see trends, I see the areas that I still want to really grow are the, building what people are doing, and the 10 times, just growing their vision, helping people be able to create and see a vision as they're sitting. And what does that look like? And how do you use that once, not just to generate the vision at the beginning, but take them back to their vision, show them again. Really paint it with a lot of color, bring out their skills, and be able to do that, because that's the area where I notice that my scores are lower as I'm thinking about my practice. So that's kind of, I think, where things are now. And then also to ask for some feedback, to develop the systems, like I was telling you, develop the systems for when I get to the middle of a coaching package, I want feedback. I'd love feedback all along. How do I do that? How does that look? What feedback do I want? How do I want to make sure that people feel comfortable doing that, getting feedback on the end, really feeling like I can create the best experience for them if they're working with me, because that's really important. I want people to feel, that it's a warm relationship, that they're cared for, that there's value there, and wanting to think about, how does that reflect? And I think some of that only comes when there's a little bit less nervousness, but I still have been doing some, just maybe this past week I had 2 PC ones. I kind of started a little bit because I was thinking of the timing of when some packages may end and where can I factor them in. And I think each time I do the different type of call, each time I'm learning something, and each time it's getting easier, and I feel stronger, and I feel like more words are coming. That was the one thing that I wrote down to make sure to mention to you about the residency is some of the calls where you really gave us some great different phrases to try the exact words. You could try these words. These words ring really well with people. I think the benefit is in watching other people and the words that they choose. Like when we're precepting and
Yes.
you're at the bedside watching your preceptor and watching them talk to the family and say the words that don't make them leap across the bed and
Right.
and the words that they're choosing is so important. And if you have to sit with a preceptor 100 times, you don't really have that, in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody can give you some words, these ones work, these ones work, these ones work, you can say this. Then at least you have some to begin with that you feel comfortable saying. You can practice saying them, and then you'll develop your own. But you don't develop your own at the beginning. You need to steal someone else's words.
Yes. It's so critical. It's hard to be whenever people are like, well, why should I join residency? And I'm like, oh, like all of these little micro things on why. Watching a master coach lead a group, watching what words we use, what words we don't use, how we challenge people. Like it's like immersive learning. I don't really know how else to describe it, but that is a good like analogy here. I mean, I bet we all owe so much, for better or for worse, to our preceptors, just like watching them like move through the unit as new baby nurses. And then this is similar. This is very, very, very similar. And I remember as a new coach, I'd be like, what book are all these like better coaches than me reading where they learn to talk like this? Like where is the dictionary that I can like get my hands on? And it's just through hours invested and time and money invested in different containers that like Laura and I've picked up on it. And we hope to like give that to you guys in residency too. Cause I thought there was a secret book everybody was reading that I like didn't know in the beginning. Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Okay. All right, Colleen, this has been so helpful just to hear like the details as we go through here. And if you could think of all of the new Nurse Life Coach Academy grads coming out, there are a bucket of them that are going straight from like NLCA into residency. And since that was also your story, I'm curious, do you have a piece of advice for them that a piece of a wisdom that you could share, just where you are now being on the other end of it?
Yeah. I think the money is the one thing. I mean, I have made back my investment, and that amount of money, but for both programs was significant. And I am the primary financial supporter for my family. I have 2 kids. One's actually a grown-up, but I think of him as a kid. But he's in college. The other one's going to go to college. I mean, I am like a real person with a real mortgage, and I needed to think of those things. And so the financial piece of really knowing that it's you're building a skill that is really valuable, and you can, if you follow the path and grow and allow yourself to work through all the vulnerability, you can really use it to be able to get a strong return on investment, the money that you're putting there. And also it is nurses don't invest in themselves, and it's us nurses. We need to do this because we are powerful and we know what healthcare needs and what people need. And if we can take the time to invest in ourselves, know that nurses are an incredible resource and tool, and we don't always do that. And if you can do that, me of the past, if you can do that and really step up and invest in yourself as a tool that can change healthcare, that's what you're doing. It's the kind of the burden and the blessing that we always hold as nurses is that we see the world as our patient. We see other humans as someone that we're meant to care for. And if you can elevate that and see that you can do that on another level, if you make this kind of investment in yourself, I think that's what I think is really important. Try not to get lost in all of those details of it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, because really, you have the power to change healthcare in a much different and broader way than you have in whatever your direct role is. Also, I think, if you can think about the value of what I said related to sitting with your own fear, seeing your own fear and being able to sit with it, how much money is that worth? I mean, I'm not saying anybody wants to sit with their own fear, but we know it's there. And if you can
Yeah.
sit with it and just let it rise and let it go and then continue doing what you want in the world, that is incredibly valuable, separate from whether you ever become a coach or not.
Yeah. So this is
Those
where I do my little micro claps, Colleen, so I don't blow anybody's eardrums out on the podcast. But yes, like those are like the ultimate cherries on top. It's like, even, I mean, your business is doing wonderfully right now, but even if it didn't, like learning the skills to be able to sit with your fear, like how does that ripple through the rest of your life? It's so significant. It's so significant. This is why entrepreneurship is like the ultimate personal development battleground here. And we're just so proud of you. I've spent weeks bragging about you on all of our team meetings. I'm like, Colleen, she's doing it. And like, there's so many women in your group that also were doing it too, that I'll actually be interviewing later this morning here on the podcast. And they'll roll out over time. But yeah, Colleen, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens next. What continues to grow as a result of your ability to like be with your fear. Like that is, everything else is just a byproduct, like you can have anything you want if we can master that skill right there. It's all right there. It's all right there.
Thank you for that. Yes. Thank you for making me write down all my fears. I do appreciate it.
That is literally my favorite call every time. That exercise changed my life. And so it's fun. Like as you go, you will find different nuggets from different like mentors, coaches, etc., that are like, oh, this is gold. And then you get to like fold it into your practice. And yeah, anyone who's been through residency, like that exercise is y'all. So you can also use it as well. Well, Colleen, thank you so much for your time and sharing your story and all the different versions of Colleen we got to meet along the way today. And anything else, any last tidbits to share to feel complete, or did we touch them all?
I think we got them all. No, I just really appreciate it. I appreciate the work that you guys are doing. I appreciate listening to the podcast. And I really enjoy the opportunity to raise the bar for nurses and really put us all as nurses in powerful positions, because I think, imagine if nurses ran the world, it would be so different and so amazing. And so I really appreciate it. If you're listening to this, you're meant to be a leader. You are a leader. Don't let anything stop you. You can do this.
Mic drop. Oh, team, if you want to see if residency could be a fit for you, go to the description. There's a short form. You can fill it out, talk to the team, and see if residency is a good fit for you. We promise to shoot you straight either way. And if you do join residency and you totally love it and have a great experience, we'll have you on the podcast and you can fill in for Colleen on the next round. Thank you, Colleen. Again, thank you for your time, your energy, all the things. And for everyone listening, we'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye, team.